regardless of what our political allegiances are, the ultimate allegiance has to be toward Jesus. Jesus' cause was the cause of the human being. If our politics don't aim in that same direction, then the Eucharist is calling us to change our lives and to change our politics.
Welcome to Finding Communion. I'm Rosemary Ford, editor of Parable, the magazine of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Manchester. I'm here with Bob Dunn, our excellent director of public policy, here to talk about the Eucharist, politics, the common good, all of it a companion piece to our Parable column of the same name. Today, we'll be talking about Jesus and whether or not he'd be a Republican or Democrat if he was here in the United States. So I think it'll be an interesting discussion. And now, welcome to Finding Communion. So, Bob, another common question we get from readers that I've heard is whether Jesus, if he were here, would be a Republican or a Democrat. And what are your thoughts on that? What would he be if he were here?
So, what would our first century Jewish forebear be if he were in 21st century America? He would be Jesus. Jesus
That would be
had
good.
one platform, and that was the cross. Think about Jesus' politics as being what Jesus did, right? He would say, care for the wounded man by the side of the road, feed the hungry, care for the poor, welcome the outcast, heal the sick, wash one another's feet. That's Jesus' political agenda, so to speak. And so whether we're Democrats or Republicans, because people can disagree legitimately about how to go about doing all of this. But regardless of what our political allegiances are, the ultimate allegiance has to be toward Jesus. Jesus' cause was the cause of the human being. And so if our politics don't aim in that same direction, then the Eucharist is calling us to change our lives and to change our politics. Catholic social teaching is incredibly countercultural. Try as people might, you cannot put the square peg of Catholic social teaching into the round hole of Democratic Party platforms or Republican Party platforms. It just doesn't match up. Think about who it is that we as a church advocate for. The poor, the unborn, victims of human trafficking and environmental disaster and assisted suicide. Folks that are in need of, in any sort of way. Those sorts of categories don't match up with the political binary that exists in the United States today or in any country in the world. That's why Catholic social teaching is so important, because it is transformative. Just as we've been talking throughout this series, the Eucharist calls us to the transformation of every aspect of human existence. And Catholic social teaching is the way that we can accomplish that, not just in the political world, but in everything that we do in our lives in society.
Sure. So you're saying Jesus would be an independent, is that right?
Jesus would be Jesus. And that's what we have to be as well.
Gotcha. So does that mean as Catholics that we can't belong to a political party? Is that what you're saying?
Not at all. The church recognizes that political parties can be and are, in many instances, really good things because they help to organize efforts toward the common good. But Catholic social teaching also calls us to be critical in our membership in political parties so that we can ensure that we don't simply do things because the political party says that we should, but rather that we try to steer political parties in the direction of advancing human dignity and the common good in the same sort of coherent way that Catholic social teaching does.
So it's okay then for a Catholic to be part of a party, even if it doesn't 100% follow Catholic social teaching on various different topics.
If you're going to be a member of a political party in 21st century America, you're going to be a part of a political party that does not fully accord with Catholic social teaching. But that's okay. We deal in realities, not in kind of utopian views. The church is an incarnational church. We deal with the world as it is and try to make it better.
So it would be a good idea then for Catholics, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, to speak up against a thing in their party that maybe is not compatible with Catholic social teaching. For example, if you're a Republican speaking up for the dignity of immigrants or, um, against the death penalty, or, as a Democrat speaking up against abortion and trying to protect the unborn.
Precisely. Precisely. And it's one of the great things that we can do as Catholics, and I think it's one of the great things that I get to do as the director of public policy, is to be able to speak in the public square in an independent way, in a way that is not beholden to one political party or another. That, I think, gives us a unique voice, a unique ability to stand up for human dignity and the common good wherever that is an issue that is available to us. We don't have to be concerned about whether we're making our political allies angry, because we are a free floating voice that is a voice that is hopefully a Eucharistic voice that is participating in the public square precisely and only to advance human dignity and the common good.
Now, through your job, you're before the state legislature all the time, speaking about a variety of issues. And, some of those are compatible with one party and some of those are compatible with another party. And what's that like for you to go and testify before those things and then, kind of be on the side of one group on one day and the side of another group on the other day? What is that kind of dichotomy like?
I love it.
Mm.
And it happens sometimes even in the course of a day. I might be testifying in support of a bill filed by one legislator in the morning and then testifying against a bill filed by that legislator in the afternoon. And to me, those sorts of situations are perfect representations about what we are all about in the public square. This sort of independence, this sort of devotion to the common good and human dignity. We're there to offer ourselves in service to people of every stripe, whoever they are, wherever they come from, whatever their political allegiances might be. We're there to help, especially the poor and the vulnerable. Again, to me, politics is and has to be seen as the way that we carry out the Lord's command that we wash one another's feet.
That's some heavy food for thought. Thank you, Bob. And thank you all for joining us on Finding Communion. Be sure to check out our show notes where you'll find links to Parable Magazine, as well as our columns and other resources that go along with this show. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Finding Communion.